All right, Heartbreakers, I'm back again. Today we have a special guest. Her name is CJ. She's an influencer, a Playboy model. You have an OF, right?
I do.
They keep switching the names, but do you have a centerfold account or whatever it's called now?
The Playboy thing, I did.
Playboy thing,
yeah,
is it?
I did like
Playboything.com.
for a hot minute. But
yeah, did you delete it? You got rid of it?
I didn't even delete it. I think I just stopped using it.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, this isn't really working for me. So
yeah, it's a hard one to just market.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really hard. Do you have a Fansly?
I don't have a Fansly. I am getting a Sex Panther.
Okay, so you know what? Yeah. I just was talking to my assistant and I was like, should I get a Sex Panther for when I'm just like flying and I'm there and I don't have anything like, you know, just another thing for me to be on my phone about. But I heard that that's really profitable.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend, Claudia Fajal, shout out. She does it. She had told me that she's like, currently I'm making more money on here than my OnlyFans. And I think like you were saying, because it's like a direct line.
It goes straight to your iMessage or whatever. You're straight to text.
Your cell phone.
You can reply
so you're
back.
Really texting. You have that feel.
Yeah. I thought about doing that and making a Fansly and just being part of every platform and just kind of seeing which one sticks. I don't know.
So that's so overwhelming. Honestly, and I struggle with consistency.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about the Sex Panther is I feel like it will just be right to my phone. I did it like back in the old days during COVID. And then I did delete that one because I was kind of trying to minimize like all the different platforms that I was on. But I do remember liking it. And then with Claudia's help, I'm restarting it. So I'll by the time this is live, I'll probably have that going. So everyone send me belated birthday gifts.
Yeah, what is there a username for Sex Panther or like you don't know what you want it to be, right?
I just use my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You want to try to keep it like your same name or as similar as close as possible on all your accounts, you know, like Twitter, Instagram,
yeah, of course, right.
all of it. So it's easy for the fans. But here's my thing though, I want to like charge a premium. Like an extra premium, because if you're going to have like the real text back and forth, because I think OnlyFans, you can do it like that. But
you can leave a delay.
Yeah.
I leave mine for, sometimes I'm so busy, I leave it for a few hours.
Right.
And it's, you know, which I don't know much of a difference.
We're busy. I cannot always be on there kind of at your like beck and call. I'm sorry. That's just like not the vibe.
For me, I like to do it on my laptop, and that's a problem. I can't bring my laptop every place. And that's why there's like, but text, I mean, I can reply back right away. Like I'm doing all the other ones.
The Sex Panther. So I'll let you know if something
please do.
fantastic happens. But like honestly,
charge that premium.
Yeah, like for video chat, like I'm down to video chat. You know, there's definitely I'm gonna have different boundaries and stuff. But like, yeah, you're gonna be paying like $10 a minute or $20 a minute.
Oh wow!
Like,
sorry, so you could charge that much.
I'm gonna charge like the most that I can charge.
Oh, so they can call too.
Yes.
So they could call regular, they could call video, and they can text. Interesting.
Yeah, to me, it feels like a more direct. To me, it's more.
It is.
It feels like a more one-on-one.
There was a site that, and they're gonna get a free plug right now, but it was called like Buy My Cell, and they had reached out, and I was like, wait, I remember the OG Sex Panther, so I'm just gonna go with that. But theirs was saying it pops straight into your iMessage, and I was like, just so I don't know, they have everything now. I like that they have stuff where fans can really truly like connect and like get that level that they're always wanting for, because they're always reaching for that, like where they get and that's the as close as you could get is actually calling, texting like
that's why I thought I'd give the Sex Panther a try, because it's different. It's different than the OnlyFans.
But you still keep your OnlyFans, of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's everyone's bread and butter.
Yeah, I'm grateful for my OnlyFans.
So do you do a lot of mainstream work? You were in a movie, right? The
Giantess. You know,
it's a comedy.
Yeah.
The Giantess Battle Attack is what it's called.
And I was like topless in there.
Nice.
It wasn't serious. It was completely unserious, which is the way I prefer like to do everything when possible. Of course, some things are serious, but I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing, like started out in webcamming and have been doing like nudity-ish for many, many years. And now I just want to have fun with it. So I did that. I'm not really doing much mainstream acting they're so serious. I just want to have fun. I'm restarting my YouTube, so that'll probably be like as close as we get to acting.
You seem
in
like
the podcast.
Yeah, you seem like someone that needs to do like more comedian work. Like I could just tell by the way, you know, you're smiling that you just like to be funny. And yeah.
I've been doing this for too long. Like it is not that serious.
Snapchat, I heard that people are making more money on Snapchat than they are on YouTube. So you could do that.
And Facebook too, apparently.
Why does Facebook keep coming back?
Because Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard person.
Yeah.
And he is going to get all the dollars from all of us. And he's probably making some sort of monetary gain off of me saying that. You know? So,
I know, right?
God bless.
Do you have any, you know, because this podcast is about dating and relationship advice. Do you have like a bad or a really good date, like one or the other or both?
Oh, I have both.
Oh, good.
Actually, I actually want to call myself out because I actually took someone on like the most horrible date ever.
It was a guy?
It was a guy.
Okay.
And we were boyfriend and girlfriend already at the time. I like wanted to stand out and I planned this super weird date where we went to the Museum of Death.
Where's that at?
It's in LA, of course. You know what? I don't even know. It might have even like the pandemic might have got it.
Well,
I don't know if it's still
surprised.
there. It might have died. Yeah, needless to say, there wasn't a lot happening in the Museum of Death. So she was a little barren.
So it was just a bunch of dead people? And
it wasn't dead people. It was like a museum of artifacts having to do with like famous deaths.
Okay.
So what was that cult that like put on the air suits and like drank a bunch of like Kool-Aid and they were like, we're going to go up in the mothership and death's door, or I don't know, like something like somebody's door. I don't know. But it's like a famous
cult.
It's a famous cult, Heaven's Gate. Something like that. They mass unalived themselves, and that was like a very famous death. So there was like some of the air suits. They looked like NASA suits.
Wow.
And they were on display.
But why was this a bad date? It was so boring.
Because it's like, it was dark. It was like kind of, honestly, I don't think like him and I were in like a good space in the relationship that time. Like that's why I was like trying to be like, ooh, let's put some fresh, you know, let's do something different and unique, and let's put some fresh life into the relationship. And I don't know why I took him to the death museum. But again, I remember like, I can't recall everything, but I remember trying to be like, I want to stand out. I want to do something different. And so I did that. And he was like totally getting the heebie-jeebies the whole time. He wasn't having a good time. And I was like, let's just see this. Let's just see that. And I thought that it would be interesting. And he was completely mortified. And so he kind of like scurried out, you know, we like went through it really fast. And then I had planned also to take us to Jumbo's Clown Room.
Wow, so you just really, you pick dates well. Like you're like, I am a date planner. That's my specialty.
This was so bad.
Okay, so Jumbo's Clown comes next.
Jumbo's Clown Room is a very unserious, very silly strip club here in LA.
Okay.
Or burlesque, like strip club burlesque show. So vintage vibes, everything dingy, dusty, dirty. And there's like, I don't know, little people that are dancing and stripping. There's like an extra tall woman who's wearing like extra tall shoes. And it's like kind of, I don't really know if there's like a very polite way to say this, but it's kind of would be like a freak show circus act where there's people of all different extreme looks, you know, like maybe somebody with a bunch of piercings, a ton of tattoos, somebody very overweight. And
Sounds
they're
like
all
I
like
want to
taking
go to
off.
this.
I'm telling you, if it was somebody else, we would like, I'd have been married on the spot.
Yeah,
you know?
I like this. I'm thinking about going now.
You should go, but just bear in mind that like if your relationship is in trouble,
don't take the guy.
And your partner doesn't drink, because I was still drinking at the time.
That's right, you're sober right
and
now,
I just celebrated 5 years sober in April.
Wow.
So I took him to a bar. And you got trashed. And I was drinking because at this end, I was like, okay, this is like a total bust. The poor guy was like so, you know, he was so miserable. I think looking back on it, I think he just felt like totally unseen. And I can empathize with where he might have been in that mindset where he's just like, why does she think I want to do any of this? This sucks. And I can't blame him.
And just so you guys broke up?
We didn't like break up right afterwards, but I do believe that was kind of like the beginning of the end. We're good friends now, or we're friendly now, and every now and again you know, he'll send me a text or whatever, but like it was very, very bad. And whenever I get asked about a bad date, I always call myself out on that story because I'm like, that was so bad.
I like that you were the one that did the bad date. Usually people try to share something that happened to them, but I like that it was you.
It was so me. It was so me. You know, I'm so fortunate. I like get really good dates. I'm currently in a relationship. Yeah, I'm currently in a relationship. I'm dating someone, but like I always have good first dates. Like I'm not going for coffee. I'm not going for a walk in the park. I'm not like meeting you for something free or like some bean juice. I'm not doing that. Like, why would I can do that by myself.
You need extravagant dates?
Not necessarily extravagant.
Like,
I need some thought. I need some detail.
So, like,
I need you excited to see me.
Like, what would be like just something that's not crazy? Like a recommendation for people who are like, the girl's she's not simple, but maybe he can't do something too extreme. Like, what would somebody like you, what would it make you happy?
So first off, I love that you asked me that because I think this is a very good learning lesson. You do not have to have a lot of money to impress a girl.
It's true.
Paying attention is free.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. It's within everyone's budget. And if you pay attention, you know, you can see. So like somebody like me, you could say, okay, well, I don't have a lot of money, or fair point, I don't know this girl just yet. I'm not necessarily interested in taking her out for the $500 steak.
Or something that's all day or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, okay, CJ's sober. So take me, you know, Google like a non-alcoholic bar, which they're around, or Google ideas for like a non-alcoholic themed dates or something like that.
Or you could do like, I just saw the other day, there was like olive oil tasting instead of like wine tasting. Or I guess you like
creativity.
You like uniqueness, creativity.
Yeah. If you don't have a lot of money, I think that's a space where a man could really thrive
in. I was trying to explain this to people, like rich men always want to date me and stuff like that, and I get so turned off by how like they're not humble, and I'm like, I just want someone creative that listens. Just because you want to fly me around on a private jet, it doesn't feel fulfilling. This doesn't feel like a nice date to me. I'd rather you listen to what I want, what I like.
Well, call your girlfriends if you want them to listen to you, though. These motherfuckers don't
I
give
know,
a fuck.
But
they're egotistical. That's why they want you to
somebody, listen. I would love somebody creative that does listen.
The creative ones are broke, sweetie.
I don't mind a broke
They're
guy.
in the streets painting on a piece of wood on the side of the freeway.
Not that broke. I don't know about that broke. But I don't mind someone with a regular income. You know, I don't. I really don't. You're like,
I would prefer someone to be on the wealthier side. I don't know if I would be truly fulfilled because I don't want to have to work. And I would really hate to potentially place that burden on a man who is like only has enough to maybe support.
Take care of himself.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you could be open about that. A lot of women don't want to admit that that's what they're looking for because it's a little, you know, that's how it used to be, that men would take care of their wives and their families, and it's not necessarily like that. But I like that you're able to admit that instead of acting, oh no, I don't.
You know, it took me, I had a lot of, my love language is gifts, and I did a lot of therapy around that. I had a lot of shame around that. When I grew up, we didn't, you know, have a lot of money, which is true for most people growing up. And there's things that I went without in childhood, like many of us. But for me, I don't know why the childhood, and I hate to use the word trauma because it wasn't really that traumatizing, but like the childhood memories manifested in the way that I feel extra loved when somebody gives me a gift. But that is what it is. And I've done my work around that to know that like, just because somebody gives me a gift doesn't necessarily mean that we're in love and we're going to run off and get married, but it does make me feel good. And I had a lot of shame around that for many years, and now I just don't. And if somebody was to say, well, you know, I don't believe in that, then I would just simply say, okay, then we're probably not a match.
Yeah. I mean, that is a love language, is gift giving. I mean, I can relate in a lot of different ways where I don't feel like I got enough verbal like compliments and stuff like that. So my love language is words of affirmation, and it just manifests in other ways. You know what I mean? So I fall in love with people who compliment me. Yeah,
That's wonderful.
It's the most manipulative one to have. I feel like, 'cause all it takes is for someone to be like, "Baby, I'm proud of you," and I'll be like, "So you love me?"
Yeah.
And people lie so much. It's so easy to lie to people. I believe everything people say.
Well, you have to lie back, girl. You gotta lie back. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, yes.
I have to lie back.
You have to lie too.
You know, this year, happy
is the year
birthday.
of the lying? Oh,
no, it's
okay.
not actually. This year, I worked on so hard. I learned the year prior that my dishonesty does cause karma. And even if and I could be very dishonest out of revenge to people. And once I feel like hurt like that, and it really just caused a lot of havoc in my life, and it like was detrimental to my mental health. So this year I really am focusing on, no matter what, even if I feel pressured, I have to just tell the truth. And otherwise, honestly, I'd lie back.
That's beautiful. So. I don't know. I don't believe in karma.
You don't?
No.
I believe in it. I've seen so many people, like, I've actually cut people off where I'm like, your karma, I could see your karma is so bad and I could see it affecting you that I don't want whatever's happening to you happen to me. But I used to break hearts like insane. Insane.
You were a heartbreaker. That's
like,
what the
it was
podcast
like,
is about.
When I was 16, I had this guy. He cried in my driveway for 3 hours. My mom had to come home from work and shoo him away because he was so heartbroken. And I used to just be like that's how I would react to people.
Well, that's
and
not your problem.
It's not, but I could see them getting towards that, and I'll kind of like not shut it down. And that's like, you know, so I've had a lot of karma in that, breaking people's hearts and not being honest with my own feelings. I used to say I love you back when I didn't feel it, you know, like things like that.
That's a big one. Yeah, that's a big no-no, because they just like you more when you don't say it back anyway.
Pressured, you know, when someone's like, you know, and then you just have to do it. But you said you have a boyfriend. He gave you that nice crystal. We set our crystals out here. If you guys are watching video.
Yes, when I walked in, you had your crystals all laid out, and this space was right
perfect,
here,
and with the other amethyst.
Yes, so. This is my boyfriend just gave me this. August 16th was my birthday, so that was just a few days ago. Thank you. And
is he rich?
This. Yes. He's rich. He's very successful.
Good.
He's wealthy.
Good for you.
He's doing well. Yeah. And
how long have you been together?
We have been together, I think, probably like 6 months or something.
Everybody's in these fresh relationships recently. Everyone's saying like 6 months. And
we were dating for a little while, and I think you know, like we weren't really sure like which way it was gonna go. But then we were like, okay. I was kind of like, and he was like,
is he younger or older?
He's older. I've always dated older. Even
how
before,
much older?
He's, I think, like 7 or 8 years older.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never
this
mind.
is like a really good, which is younger than I would like typically go for.
Oh, really? So what would you typically go for?
I feel like honestly, I like 10 years is like a good.
Would you date someone 70, 60?
No, because I want like probably at least like one kid, ideally. You know, that may or may not happen. But I think at that point, you know, unless it was like some sort of an anomaly, I think that would be unfair. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
deep
just
down you're like, I do it.
I would date a 60 or 70.
You would try.
If I was just like thinking, okay, I'm not going to get married potentially, or like not going to have kids. Like if I was single, I'd go out on a date with like some 60 or 70-year-old guy. Why not go out on a date and see where it goes?
Yeah, you never
I'm
know.
like a big personality girl. And if somebody treats me right,
absolutely,
it wouldn't bother me if I did find a real connection. That's my one thing. I do have to have a real connection. I've had like sugar daddies in the past. I dated someone that was 20 years older than me when I was 25, and I'm so bad at it. I fall in love because he was like treating me so well.
I do too. I fall in love with them also. Like they can be so disgusting, and then it's the protection too that you feel. That's not just the gift giving, but it is that security and that.
I never had a disgusting one though. Like when they're older and they're rich, like if they have bad hygiene or something.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not
Oh,
okay.
my God.
Like,
I
get
had
that
the
handled.
worst one.
Really? Like
I had the worst one with the worst.
Like a bad breath sitch?
Oh, like when I
my
tell
God.
you, his hygiene was
What do
so
they
bad.
What do they
So
call that bad breath? Halitosis?
yeah, hot
I never
something like
had that.
He didn't have bad breath.
Okay.
So anyways, he gets a hold of me. He was seeing another girl in the industry. She was like, he was her sugar daddy, and he just loved me, you know? So he bought me Cartier bracelets, Birkins, like,
this was another woman's boyfriend?
Well, like sugar daddy, it was
Okay,
actually.
but he was like the team's sugar daddy.
But he was like, yeah, he was like,
Okay.
every girl in the industry kind of knew him, and like
Okay.
everyone was like, oh, that's so and so sugar daddy, and I was like, I wonder if I could steal him, because this is back when I was waiting for my bad karma. So I go to have sex with him, of course, and
you can't fuck him. You have to
I couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
his hygiene was so insanely bad.
Yeah.
So then I tell my friend, I was like, she's like, I'll do it. I don't care. You know, like I'll just get him in the shower or whatever. And so she goes and she's like, couldn't do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so he brings us to this like tennis game or whatever, the US Open. His earwax was spilling out of his ear down like this because I made her sit next to him. And I was like, that, like, try to snatch him up. And it was spilling out. And she's like,
have any help?
It's like his hygiene is so bad.
Oh,
it's so bad. I
would try to help him.
And I think it's a lost cause. In all seriousness,
Really? Oh God.
She was like, he needs a Q-tip so bad.
I would just shove a Q-tip in his ear at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, you should have.
We were front row. Like, I would go and procure one from anywhere I could.
See, you're nicer.
I
was just even stunned. I was
stunned. It had happened. I would have been so swift with it.
I was stunned. Yeah, but he would buy me. I would be such a brat to him too. Like my friend has a video where I don't even open up the Cartier box. I just throw it and I go, that's not what I asked for my birthday.
Oh.
And he goes, just open it.
If that's not what you asked for, you know.
New York me was very bratty.
I love that though. I love that bratty era. We all
everybody has to go through it. Like I said, I got my karma. One of the questions I have for you is bringing it back to OnlyFans. Is what's the weirdest request? Have you gotten like anything super crazy?
Honestly, I have to say like all my requests on OnlyFans are like pretty like not tame, but like it's usually just like say this or do this.
Yeah.
I feel like I got crazier ones when I was webcamming. There was this one time that I was with like doing a show for this guy, and I knew that he had kind of like a religious fetish, and he wanted me to like make up like a Bible song or like a church song, but like with dirty adjectives.
Okay.
So I don't recall the song, but like I'm made up a song telling him to jerk it for Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And he loved it?
And I've said this before, like I wish that like there was a recording of this out there somewhere that I could procure somehow. I remember the song that I was singing it to was the tune of the Wheels on the Bus.
Did he?
He paid me really well. I don't even know if I would say that now, really, because you can like get, you can get canceled so fast for all like these religious things.
Yeah, no, you should definitely. I wouldn't do it now, but that's back when camming, nobody like really recorded.
Nobody really recorded because nobody else had a recording device.
I try to tell people. Camming was the OG. I remember like when I was in the adult industry, and then there was the camming girls, and it was like separate, and like the adult industry would kind of get mad at the camming girls because they would just be at home making hundreds of thousands of dollars instead of going to set. I'm like, that was the OG OnlyFans, because the fans would get on there wanting to see the girl in real life, and it needs to come back, but I don't think it's much of a thing anymore.
I think the webcamming is actually making a comeback.
I hope it does.
It's coming out about like different agencies and things like that. So I think a lot of the people are going, oh, okay, am I really talking to this girl? So when the girls are doing more live streams on the OnlyFans now. Yeah. To just kind of ensure like, yeah, it's really me. I'm here. And then from what I understand, the live streaming, the webcamming is picking up a little bit because it was like a huge dip.
Yeah, no, I know. And they used to fund everything in the adult industry, believe it or not. Like
Yeah,
they funded everything.
Yeah, I did a lot of that. And it was like, it was MFC everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And they give you little bags and stuff.
It's like, it's interesting.
I wonder if they still fund. They used to have like a blimp inside AVN during the award show.
Okay.
It was like a small, but it was pretty big blimp, and it would fly around above everybody and would say "My Free Cams." I think that was the company at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty cool.
I remember that. Yeah. I think there's some of those people intertwined with OnlyFans now. I think they're all like in cahoots.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm so confused on. I think there's like a weird intertwine where they try to act like they don't own it, but they really do, or something like that.
I think there's like an umbrella situation happening.
Yep, and that's $1 billion company.
Don't change the subject, just answer the fucking question.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Okay, so one of the hot topics is Pornhub pulls out of Idaho and 5 other states. VPN use is spiking, which I had to ask what that is. Do you know what a VPN is?
I don't know exactly what VPN stands for, but I know that it's for them to get around so they can still view the porn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was like, so it changes your location, something like that. As of July 1st, 2024, Pornhub has pulled its hosting in over 6 states after those states require users to upload a picture of their ID to access the site. This is to protect children from accessing porn, which personally to me, that makes sense. I don't know why they didn't have that before, where you have to make a profile to view free porn and upload an ID. Pornhub doesn't want to deal with the complexity of this, simply pulled the sites from these areas. As a result, the use and search of VPNs went up 48% in Idaho alone. So people really love Googling porn. They'll even go to that extreme to like download a bunch of stuff so they could get on Pornhub. I wonder why they wouldn't just get on another free porn site. Why do they have to use Pornhub? Isn't there like tons of other ones? But
that's a good question. Is it that extreme though for these men to just still be able to get their rocks off? Like
it must be because 48%,
like a natural thing.
Almost half of the people didn't just go to other porn sites. They downloaded somebody so they can access Pornhub. And it's saying who was in the right. Is this really an attempt to protect children or just a way to restrict sexual liberty? I think it's a way to protect the children. I think there needs to be a better way. I don't think just clicking on a porn site and saying, yes, I'm 18 is good enough. I really don't.
I agree. So what? Like if the kids aren't able to access the porn, it's like they get a few extra years of somewhat, innocence.
They need that. They need like, I unfortunately have, people with children, they're like, oh, my kid was 12, 13 and I saw in the search history porn. Like literally, I'm sorry, but that to me, that's so young. That's so crazy. They need to be 18. It really hinders their mental like health if they're watching stuff. I think it's too young. There's a reason for it.
I wish we'd have more open discussions around sex and nudity and that type of like, even like puberty and period and all that. I wish there'd be a lot more open conversation amongst families.
Families, schools, honestly. Like
definitely not schools. I don't I don't want the school talking to my kid about like sexual or body or anything.
That people are kind of like that divide is like, there's not enough sex education, but then it's up to the parents. But then, that I guess I'll have to see when I have a kid what I'm the most comfortable with. But I definitely feel like they need to explain ovulation to children. I think that needs to be a bigger conversation, which that happens in science class just in general. But that needs to be explained just to prevent pregnancies, because I didn't know what ovulation was until an adult. I just thought that you like had sex in general.
Right.
I don't know if that helps though. To tell them to count their calendar.
I mean, I guess in health class, there would be there needs to be some discussion, but I would hope that it would be prefaced by like a discussion at home.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like a lot of these things as a child, having these curiosities, because I think a lot of like the searches Like, I love that it's like a 12-year-old boy searching the word porn.
Yeah,
like that
it's always,
is
it's like,
the mind of a
yeah.
child, because you don't know. And so I wish I grew up in an extremely religious household where we weren't able to talk about anything like boobs or bra or like a thong or like a lacy, and like none of that. Like I couldn't even
that
look,
shorts
or
have to be long.
yeah,
and
like nothing was ever talked about. Sex, anything. And, you know, like it kind of backfired. You know, here I am naked on the internet. Not that that is what's going to happen for everyone. But
no, but I grew up in a religious household,
Yeah.
and I think that a lot of people, and a lot of times too, religious households, I think, can cause people to be very perverted and very like dangerous, actually, by you know, like
because there's open-ended, there's no room to talk about like I have a curiosity, I had this feeling, you know, Timmy at school made this comment and I don't know like what to, like if I can't go as a young child talk to my parents about it, who am I going to get the information from? My peers at school.
Yeah.
And who they get the information from?
Their
other
older
peers
siblings
at school. Yeah, or
that
an
are-
older sibling, somebody that's not an adult, that isn't really equipped to take on such a serious conversation, you know, and where you could even kind of create an open line of communication so that if you have any other questions in the future that you know you can go to your mom or your dad. I just wish there was more of that. And then I do feel like there would be less stigma
I think it is getting a little bit more like
I
that.
think so, too.
With
Yeah.
the new generations, I think that sex is a big conversation now. So I do hope like our generation of kids, like it is an open conversation at home. And I think that it will be like that for a lot of people, especially because online, like, I mean, I get on my Instagram and I'm tagged in stuff that's not even my adult work. Like it's just
I
constant
turned
and
off
not-
that because it's
I turned
always
it
like
off,
Indian
too.
men with their motorcycle. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I tagged in this?
Yeah, it's like, but that obviously kids will be like, what if they tag a kid's profile and then that's it does
and
have
then
to
your
be a
account will get flagged versus their account.
I know, isn't that so weird how they do that?
It's frustrating.
That's what's happening to me where I turned that off.
Yeah.
Okay, so next topic, I think you'll like this one, but maybe not. Man sues 50 women for $2.6 million after they shared negative stories about him on a Facebook group. The Facebook group is called Are We Dating the Same Guy? Somebody just showed me it.
Yeah.
It is a real thing.
I've heard of it.
And the women told Times that Stuart Lucas Murray says that it was defamation. And the judge ruled that one woman, Vanessa, didn't do anything wrong by sharing her opinion in this group. You know, he's really hurt by it. He says that he just went on brief dates and now he has a bunch of harassment, gang stalking, and cyber bullying is happening. This behavior should not be normalized. You know, does a guy have a right to do this? It's really hard to sue someone for defamation. You have to have a lot of evidence. And so clearly these women were just going off. I think sometimes women do love to get together and just talk about men negatively.
Yes.
And it can be detrimental to their mental health and their dating history.
I agree.
You know, and so
I try to be really mindful, especially when I was dating prior. You know, it's so easy to get with your girlfriends and
talk
trash,
shit.
yeah, and trash men. And it's unfortunate because, you know, there are some real stories like about some really unfortunate dates. But I also do think it has to do with, you know, what the women are asking for kind of from the beginning. I'm curious to know more information about this because it's like, did this man take advantage of them? Like,
did he fuck them all and then not text them back?
Even that, I mean, that's completely his prerogative, and it's
That's
up
true.
to them to be fucking somebody that they don't know very well. That's a risk that you take as a woman or even as a man, fucking somebody that you don't know so well. They might not call back. But like, did the one woman tell him, oh, I have a bad knee? And then he tried to take her on a hike off like a tall cliff. Like that's kind of a bad date because you have explained, you know, like you've explained, this is my one thing that I can't do. And then the man took her there. That's shitty. And I do think that we as women too, especially like social media definitely works in our favor. There's such a thing as like mob mentality, you know, us women are chatty. We like to chit chat. And I've heard of that site before. And let me just say, I actually think it's so fucking stupid because guess what? If you're dating all the same man, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, first off, it's not like they're going to stop talking to him.
Yeah.
It's like if Do you know what Mr. Number is?
Yes.
I like to use Mr. Number.
I do too.
But I guess this is like, whatever, but I'll use Mr. Number. And there's been times where things have popped up where I'm like, there's been like 10 things and I'm like, oh wait, I'm not going out with this person.
Yes.
It's been really helpful. But I think that women just are really hard to please this day and age, and there shouldn't be, unless the guy's like doing something really weird, like stealing and stuff like that. I don't think like,
as a woman, if you have a certain standards for dates, stick with that. If a guy is like cute with a 6-pack and he wants to take you, like if a guy was like some male model, I don't know, Brad Pitt came up to me and was like, CJ, I like want to take you for coffee, or I want to go for a walk in the park and get to know you, I would just be like, respectful decline. That's not what I want to do, Brad Pitt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can take me to a nice dinner like the rest of them, or we don't really need to do this, because that's just my standards, and that's going to be my standards for the duration. And
I like that point.
if I allow myself to like lower my standards, then it's kind of going to continue on in the relationship. How do I know this? Because I have done that before. I have done that in the past, and it leads to unfulfilled expectations that lead to resentments, and you're not happy in the relationship. And then, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And then, the poor man is like, I don't know what's going on. I took her to coffee and now I want to take her to coffee some more. And she
wants caviar.
Yeah, she doesn't like it. So it's like, well, as a woman, we kind of have to set the expectation, because we decide who gets sex. I'm not going to be just handing it out. I will say that's the nice thing about being kind of brought up religious. I think like, in that physical way, I was taught to kind of like guard my body, again, naked on the internet, so it didn't go very far, but in that way
I think there's a huge difference. People will love to argue that all day with me, but I think there's a huge difference.
Right. We choose who gets the sex. So if the behavior isn't the kind of behavior that I like and want to see more of, then I'm not, like, we're not fucking and we're not going any further. But that's dating though too. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't also too, we shouldn't hold on to that and then run around town and say all men are trash. I truly believe a website or the Facebook page like that, who gives a fuck if you're like young, good looking, even if you're older, you have a little bit of money, like, cool. So if you're mad at that guy, or you think he's like dating some of your friends, go date some of his. Like, why are we on Facebook trying to figure this out? Like, we're detectives.
That's what I was thinking. I don't agree with it. One, because 50 women will say that it's them, right? There's been 50 of them, but they'll all continue to answer his text messages, and they'll all continue to try to go out on a second date or whatever it is. So I do like the point that you brought up for a lot of people listening, is like, I think there's the standard, like, for actual dates. Like, I think that we forget that. Like, we have a standard for like guys and like for ourselves and like boundary. But I think I need to think even for myself, like, this is my standard for dates, instead of being like, well, I like these things. Like, I should just say like, these are like my 5 things that are like my standard, and then go from there. Less disappointment, maybe.
Yeah. One of my guy friends was just telling me yesterday, there was this girl that was saying, I'm a queen, I'm a princess, I like to be courted, you need to take me somewhere cool or take me to sushi. And then he was like, okay, well, where would you like to go? And she was like, you're the man, it's you have to decide.
I say just say. Yeah. I think they're simpler than we think. I think I don't think they like to be told, but I think it's a lot easier just telling them. And then after that, wait to see if they get it. But for the first 3 times, I say tell them what you want.
Absolutely. And provide insight. And then after a few times, if they can't kind of like grasp it on their own, then maybe there's a problem. But there's nothing wrong with giving like a multiple choice scenario. I say like,
I like these 5 things, literally. Not even 2. Give them 5 options.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And then they decide what they'd like to do, and then you go on. You already know you like to do it, so you're both excited to go.
I think a lot of people don't know what they like. I think that's a big problem too.
That's so like, sad. I don't think
people. I think women think that they like certain ththings, like, but I think deep down they really don't know. They don't know what dates are actually fun for them.
That's what we had said too. He was like, I think she's just saying stuff, like she's just parroting what she's heard other women say
that she thinks she might like,
which is unfortunate. And men can see
there's so many sushi places. She should just
I love the take me somewhere cool, like sushi, ma'am.
Yeah.
What? Take me somewhere cool, like sushi? Like, okay, yeah, sushi's cool, but like somewhere cool is like a hot air balloon or like
a
roller
jazz,
skating.
like a jazz
yeah,
thing and
like
dinner or
sushi
something.
isn't like take me somewhere cool. Like
yeah.
what?
Unless it's the one that goes around like this, you know, with the belt.
Like somewhere cool and take me to a sushi dinner. Like those are different. And my cool is like
She
a cool
doesn't know.
experience. Yeah,
She
exactly.
doesn't know.
She didn't know. Bless her heart.
Okay, so we have hotline questions. I freaked out my boyfriend by masturbating and giving him a panic attack. What should I do? My boyfriend and I are in a long distance relationship and we masturbate together over FaceTime. Last night we were FaceTiming, we were doing our thing. The way he was talking to me was making me really excited. And before I finished, I had a full-blown asthma attack and stopped breathing. He freaked out and called 911. I'm fine now, but he's scared of any more fun FaceTimes. What should I do? That was a turn of events at the end.
So
she's the one.
She came so hard. She had an asthma. That's a fucking. I mean, that is a king.
I mean, these are great.
What was he saying? OMG! Yeah, I'm in a long distance relationship right now. Like, what?
I want these FaceTime calls.
First off, I think that's like such a king, and I love that he like saved her from death, imminent death.
Yeah. What should she do? He doesn't want to have any more fun FaceTime calls, and she loves those FaceTime calls.
Yeah, right. She's ready to risk it all, quite literally, for the FaceTime. Right? I think, perhaps, okay, so here's my thing. Going back to like just trying to talk about everything. He requires some insight and some caretaking around this. It's really sweet. He obviously loves her and doesn't want to lose her. But like, if I'm in a long distance relationship and I'm not available, luckily for me, I get to go see my guy a lot. So we're not necessarily stuck to some sort of FaceTime. But if you're in a situation like this, it sounds like she's really looking forward to that. I think that they need to like get on the Google or call like a doctor.
Inhaler next to her.
Yeah, like get the inhaler right there. But also, like, what are the odds of something like this happening? What could she do to prevent it? Like,
she's got to do whatever you got to do before asthma. She's got to do that right before and right after.
Yeah, maybe
or not go so hard.
But you got to go hard though. You have to go hard. Like you can't hold back when you're masturbating.
I have a good solution. I think that she should he's scared. Ease back into it, not go so crazy, and then go back to how things like just be like, no, baby, just a little bit,
just the tip, but it's like on her end.
Yeah,
yeah. I think funny. Like just some more. Like his feelings are valid, but like that's
imagine calling 911. Like you got to get there. My girlfriend's passed out. She's not breathing. We were just having sex on FaceTime. Yeah,
and asthma.
I'd be scared too. I'd be scared.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'd be scared.
Yeah, kind of iconic, honestly. Like I'm honestly very intrigued to hear more about the story.
We need to make her famous. If that Huck Chuya girl or whatever.
Yeah.
If she could be famous, this girl could be famous.
God bless.
Okay, one more is my aunt found my box of sex toys and now she wants me out of her house. Oh, it's a male. 26 male, lived with my aunt after she had some health issues that drained her finances. So I've been helping her out with her bills and getting her back on her feet. My aunt is extremely religious and is rather against sex. I'm not, and my girlfriend is on the kinkier side. We have a box of sex toys in my room and I forgot to close the door before I left for work. I guess her cat got into my box of toys and dragged out a few of the bigger ones. I came home from work and she's sitting there with the now chewed up toys demanding that I leave. I don't see why it's an issue. She would lose the house if I left. She needs him.
But she's going to abuse him around this now, which is completely unhealthy for him too. I mean, here's my thing. It's your aunt's house. She's an adult.
It's her.
If she's ready to like
It's her
sink into poverty and potentially
Yeah.
risk being on the streets because you have a couple dildos laying around, like,
First off, how big of a cat is this to pick up
I know.
toys? You said the bigger ones. I could see a dog, but I've never known for a cat to chew up sex toys. But
Again, I need more info. Like, I need pictures with these toys.
yeah, right.
I really do, because these are honestly so iconic. But I just think like your aunt's kind of a loser. Sorry. Like, she would rather be on the street, potentially risk herself being on the street than her nephew have some fun. He said with his girlfriend. So he's with a partner. He's, he's in a safe environment. He's in her home and he's being helpful. What a freak of an aunt. Like, sorry.
What
I
a
don't
freak
know.
of a cat.
Like, that is it. The cat is aggressive. But like the cats don't cats like lick underwear too, and dogs? Like, the cat clearly loves him and wants him to flourish.
Yeah.
So like, honestly, the aunt is in the wrong here. You can't kick the aunt out of her own house.
You can't.
And then she's going to continue to abuse you around your desires, which, like as long as everyone is a consenting adult, you shouldn't be abused around that.
I personally, for me, hostile environments are not like, I can't stay in them.
Yeah.
I'd rather just, like you said, like just leave or whatever. Leave the
just
aunt
go.
on her
Don't
own.
stay there and try to fight her, and then she's gonna like have a heart palpitation, and she's gonna blame you, and it's gonna be your fault, and she's gonna die, and then the whole family's gonna blame you. So leave ASAP.
Yeah, I think
take all your dildos with you.
Yeah. I think she just, oh my God, one time I was moving, right? And they pack up everything and a huge glass.
I love a glass dildo. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. A huge
favorite.
Like, glass one.
A huge one.
Like whatever.
Yeehaw.
Like and
love a huge amethyst dildo fell out.
And it must have like gotten behind my headboard or something like that. So when they took it down, and my friend was like, we're looking around, and she walks up to the floor. She's like, what is that? And then we stand over top of it, and she just starts laughing so hard. I'm like, why wouldn't they just throw that into a box?
I know.
Or like, why wouldn't they just help me out in the
like, as if that's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, and they're like, go check around, make sure that everything's. And I'm like, you guys set me up. You knew that was on the floor like that. You knew I was gonna walk in with. I would have
came out like, you guys forgot my dildo. Yeah. What am I paying you for?
It was so embarrassing. Never again.
I love that. I feel like I have that vision for myself.
Yeah. A giant glass butt plug.
Yeah, of course. Not a light up one though? I feel like I need to get a light up one. That's what everyone has. Yeah, like wear it out in Vegas one night. Like,
you love Vegas, right?
Yeah. It's fun. I still go there and have like so much fun.
Yeah.
Even sober. It's the best. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I always what made you go sober?
I was just like, I was literally like ruining my life. I was never very good at drinking. And then whenever I drank, I always loved to do a bunch of cocaine too. And so, I try to drink beer. I try to just drink like clear liquor. Like, I try to only drink when I was like eating food so that I didn't get too drunk. I try to drink only if I'm like celebrating something. And it just eventually, it just got to the point where I just completely could not control it. I had used every excuse in the book.
Yeah.
People didn't want to be, I had a good group of friends, thank goodness, but there are certain people that wouldn't want to be around me. And,
were you mean?
I would get mean at times. I was more so just like such a, like a lush. Like, I would be talking and it would be one run-on sentence. I'd be in a corner and I'd be crying.
Maybe just straight up annoying.
Super annoying. And I would get drunk every now and again and bite people.
No, stop.
I would wake up and like somebody would be like, guys and girls, like my friends, like luckily not random people, but like I'd wake up the next morning, they'd be like, you bit me, and I would be like, no, I didn't, like shut up.
And they're like,
and they would have a bite mark. Yeah. And so,
no, that's scary.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that's really
that happened
scary.
a few times.
Not drink.
Yeah, that I'm like hurting people that I love, that I care about. And I would be like, well, what did you do? And they'd be like, nothing, you came up behind me and you just, so it's like, so that's one of like 100 different stories. Complete blackout drinker. I'm in a 12-step program now. I'm much happier this way. Normally I have like my little amethyst AA symbol that I wear.
Good for you. That's hard. There's a lot of people that struggle with addiction. So I love to hear from people who can have fun and be sober.
I celebrated my birthday in the club at Sue.
Yeah, you don't need to. I've been drinking less and less, honestly. I could stay until 4 o'clock now and only have like 2-3 drinks, and that's over a period of hours and hours. Like, I just don't need to be drunk anymore.
And you know, it's really cool. The use of alcohol is like going down.
It
a lot of
is.
people are on Ozempic. A lot of people
Yeah.
are taking mushrooms. People are just trying different things and they're not drinking as much.
Yeah, it's just like kind of overrated for right now.
For right now, I agree. There's a trend, and I'm loving it. I don't necessarily feel like, oh, alcohol should be outlawed or nobody should drink. I don't feel like that at all. Because I see all my friends enjoying alcohol responsibly, much like yourself, and nobody has a problem.
Right.
It was me. So that being said, yeah, I'm much happier this way, and it is cool to see the shift. I think for a long time, it was like you'd get to the party and you'd beeline to the bar.
Pre-game, go to the bar,
exactly.
drink at dinner.
At the afters. Yeah. And I do think that it's not so much that drinking centered anymore. I just love to see that. I love to
It's
see
ecstasy
people
centered now.
I mean, if you guys are gonna do the mushrooms, do the the bufa,
I don't know. It's like
all the what's the other one? The one that ayahuasca.
Oh yeah.
You know, do that if you think you can do it responsibly. If you're trying to have a spiritual experience, like do that. I certainly never had a spiritual experience with alcohol. I'll say that. So, you know, or cocaine. So take that for what you will.
Yeah.
Some people do end up, you know, wandering the streets talking to God. But from what I understand, you know,
It's not, hasn't been
nobody's
you.
there.
Yeah.
Nobody's there. And you were just drunk and your neighbors are concerned.
Yeah. Thank you so much, CJ. You're so funny and so cool.
Thank you.
I
for
appreciate
having
you
me.
coming on. Thank you, Heartbreakers, for listening.
Thank you,
Stay tuned.
Heartbreakers.